Hello, Class 8. I hope you all are doing great. So, wasting no time, let's start today's class. And in today's class, we are going to start chapter number 1C of Civics. And the chapter name is the Judiciary. So, Judiciary is what? It's a third organ of the Indian government. So, let's start today's class. Children, in the previous chapters, we have already learned about the two organs. The first one was the legislature. Second one was the executives. Now, in third chapter, in this third organ, we'll talk about the judiciary. Right. So, judiciary is what? It's a third organ of the union government. Clear? So the judiciary means all the courts, lower courts, district courts, high courts, and the Supreme Court put together, and at a different, like all the courts at a different levels in a country put together are called the judiciary. Right? So in this chapter, we'll read about the various courts as well as the Supreme Court. We'll talk about the Supreme Court also, right? Now, it's written here, while the legislative branch makes laws, that means the parliament, they make laws, and it is a job of the executive to implement those laws, right? And it is a job of the judiciary, that means all the courts, to interpret and explain what these laws mean and to punish those who break the laws. And this third organ is very important organ of the Indian government, union government. Right? Clear? Okay, now next is need for the judiciary. Next topic, to interpret the constitution. So India has a federal type of government, federal system, right? So federal system means India is like it's a very vast it's a very big country. So to manage them properly, what is needed? Power is needed, right? So power means like to manage the whole vast country, the government is divided into two groups, right? Two groups. So one is the union government and second is the state government. So both state government and union government, that they are what? They are the two sets of government. So that is what federal system, federal type of government. So we have that federal type of government in India, right? So the powers lies, or the powers are divided into union as well as in the union and the state government, right? So, for a stable government, what is needed? It is essential that the central, that means union, and the state government should act in accordance with the provision of the constitutions, within the rules and regulations, within the constitutions, right? Protect fundamental rights. So the Supreme Court and the High Courts are the protector of the fundamental rights. For the purpose of protecting rights of the citizens, the Supreme Court and the High Courts may issue writs or directions to the concerned authorities. So, High Courts and the Supreme Court, they are the protector, they are the guardian, or we can say they are the they protect fundamental rights of every individual, right? Now next is to maintain the supremacy of the constitution. The judiciary checks the arbitrariness of the government, protects the interprets the constitution, and maintains the supremacy of the constitution. It gives a new meaning to the constitution to meet the new situation. So um, the courts, the Supreme Court and the High Courts, both are or both act as a supervisor, like they check the arbitrariness of the government, and they protect and interpret the constitutions, right, and maintains the supremacy of the constitutions. That means rules and regulations, right? Now next is single judicial system in India. As we know that a single integrated judicial system has been adopted for the whole country, India. At the apex, the judicial system is the Supreme Court of India, immediately below which are state courts, and below high courts there are district courts, and all these courts decide the cases according to the same constitutional, civil and criminal penal code. Appeals against the decision of district courts lie in the high courts, and the appeals against the decision of high court can be filed in the Supreme Court. So this I already told you about the single integrated judiciary system. So this is single integrated judiciary system. Here are the three courts: civil courts, revenue courts, criminal courts, and above these courts we have district courts, and people can appeal if people are not satisfied with the decision given by the district courts, then they can appeal to high courts, they can move to high courts. Then at the apex we have the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court is the apex court or the highest court of appeal, right? So the appeals against the decision of the High Court or the other courts can be filed in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court is the final we can say final interpreter, or final that the final decision lies within the Supreme Court, right? So whatever decision is given by the Supreme Court, that has to be accepted by all. Now next we have Supreme Court, the apex court in India. As I already told you about the Supreme Court, the apex court in India, so whatever the decision is given by the Supreme Court, that has to be accepted by all. And so we have a single unified judiciary system in India, and see here, all these courts enforce and interpret the same laws as made by the Parliament. Means they cannot enforce or interpret the different laws, right? So all the courts, whether it's a district courts, high courts, criminal courts, or civil courts, revenue courts, they all these all courts enforce and interpret the same laws as made by the Parliament, the state legislatures, and as contained in the Constitution, right? So the Constitution lays down that the interpretation of the ordinary laws and the laws of the Constitution as made by the Supreme Court shall be binding on all courts within the territory of India. So this last line means whatever the decision is given by the Supreme Court, that decision the Supreme Court, whatever the decision made by the Supreme Court shall be binding on all courts within the territory of India. Not only the lower courts, lower to the Supreme Court, they are supposed to interpret the laws and the Constitution as made by the Supreme Court, that is binded on all the courts within the territory of India. Not only that, but also all the people, they have to accept the decision given by or made by the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court gives the final decision, right? And we can say Supreme Court is the final interpreter of the Constitution also. Clear? Okay, now next is composition of the Supreme Court. So composition of Supreme Court, so total strength is 31. So 30 are, one is Chief Justice and 30 are other judges, right? So there are total 31 judges, and these are the regular judges and their number is fixed, right? So there is only one Supreme Court in India, and in that Supreme Court there are total 31 judges. One is Chief Justice and 30 are other judges. So there are total 31 judges. Clear? Now next is qualifications. So a judge needs to be he or she must have been a judge of one or more high courts for 5 successive years, 5 consecutive years, right? Secondly, or may be an advocate of one or more high courts for 10 successive years, 10 consecutive years, and or maybe a distinguished jurist in the opinion of the president, right? Okay. Now next is term of office. Term of office and removal. Okay, now term of office, when we talk about the term, when we talk about the service of the judges, so the Supreme Court judges can serve until they attain the age of 65 years. Clear? So the term of office is until he or she attains the age of 65 years, right? A judge may resign. Now when we come to the removal, so removal is impeachment. So a judge may resign by writing in his own hand to the president. He may be removed from his office by the president through impeachment on the grounds of misbehavior, proved misbehavior, or incapacity, or incapacity, misbehavior, or misconduct, right? So but this is to be this impeachment, this is done only when an address is passed in each house of the parliament supported by a simple majority, right? So it is then presented to the president, and this the removal, the procedure of removal of the judges is known as the impeachment. Now next we have appointment. So appointment of judges and the Chief Justice. It's every judge of the Supreme Court is appointed by the president, and when we talk about the Chief Justice is appointed by the president, and when we talk about the other 30 judges, they are appointed by the president with a consultation of the Chief Justice of India, right? Okay, now Chief Justice and such other judges of the Supreme Court or the High Courts as he may deem necessary for this purpose. So appointment is done by the president, and in case of the other judges, they are appointed by the president with the consultation of the Chief Justice of India. Clear? Now next we have salaries and allowances. So let's talk about the salaries and allowances of the judges. The Chief Justice, he or she gets 2,80,000 per month, and other judges of the Supreme Court, they get 2,50,000 per month, right, as a salary per month, and charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. Now, seat of the Supreme Court. New Delhi is the seat of the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court of India is situated at New Delhi. However, it may sit other places also with the prior approval of the president. Now next we have jurisdictions, powers and functions of the Supreme Court. Powers and functions of the Supreme Court are reflected in its jurisdictions, which is of 6 types. Number one is original jurisdiction, appellate jurisdiction, advisory jurisdictions, guardianship of the constitutions, guardianship of the fundamental rights, and Supreme Court as a court of record. So let's talk about the original jurisdiction. Original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. So this means that the Supreme Court is hearing the case for the first instance, or if the case directly goes to the Supreme Court, right, at the first instance, first time. So Supreme Court is hearing the case for the first time. So that type of jurisdiction is known as original jurisdiction. Clear? Okay. Now, Supreme Court to hear a case in the first instance directly, which extends to the following cases. Now, here are the cases. Examples are: number one is between the government of India and one or more states. Secondly, between the government of India and one or more states on one side and one or more states on the other sides, right? And other side. And next is between two or more states. Sorry, two or more states, between two or more states. And the Supreme Court can also hear cases at the first instance for the interpretation of the Constitution in case of dispute between two or more states or interstates, and related to the rights also, right? Um Fundamental rights, to determine the constitutional validity of the union laws also, right? So the Supreme Court has a special jurisdictions for the enforcement of the fundamental rights. This is very, very important, and to protect these fundamental rights, the Supreme Court can issue an the Supreme Court can issue um writs, legal documents, right? We call it writs. So various writs are there: writs of habeas corpus, writs of mandamus, prohibitions, cure warranto, and certiorari's. These are different writs which are issued by the or given by the Supreme Court for the various purposes, right? Now, next is the Supreme Court has also exclusive and original jurisdictions to inquire into and decide all the doubts and disputes in connection with the election of the President and Vice President of India. Clear? Okay. So the disputes arises in the case of like election of president and vice president. That is also the final decision will be of Supreme Court. Clear? Okay. Next, we have appellate jurisdiction. So, appellate means appeal. So, the Supreme Court is the highest court of appeal. It has a vast appellate jurisdictions. It can hear cases of appeal from High Court, Civil Court, and Criminal Court. Now, I'll explain you through the diagram. Now, these are the lower courts, lower to this district courts, civil courts, revenue courts, and criminal courts, right? So, the decision given by these courts, if one is not satisfied with the decision given by these courts, then they can appeal to district courts. District courts, again, if they are not satisfied, then they can move to high court. They can appeal to high courts, right? So again, the decision given by the high courts, if they are not satisfied, then they can appeal to the Supreme Court. So this is what? This is appellate jurisdiction. So this is the appellate jurisdiction of Supreme Court, right? So Supreme Court is the highest court of appeal. There is no other um, court of appeal beyond the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court is the highest court of appeal. Clear? Okay. Okay, children, that's all for today. We'll continue this same chapter in the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye.